Henshin! It's morphin' time!
Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome to a special retrospective video. Today's retrospective is not going to be super based in history or a lot of facts or details. It's mostly about representing the fact that the Kamen Rider Fourze toy line is finally complete after 10 years. Because with the release of the deluxe Nadeshiko driver in 2022, Kamen Rider Fourze, which aired from 2011 to 2012, finally has a complete toy line, as this contained the driver that was missing, as well as the 3 Astro switches that most collectors needed to finish their collections. And it was a premium Bandai release, of course, but was one that was brought over by the former company Bluefin Brands, now part of Bandai Namco proper, which means, yeah, you can complete your Fourze collection finally, and for many, they may be mostly complete. For me, I love this show a little too much, and I own pretty much everything that was used in show. And so because of that, I thought, well, with the release of the Nadeshiko driver, now having my collection pretty much complete, why not do a retrospective? And I thought this could be multi-parts, this could be several hours long, but ultimately the Astro switches as a gimmick are fairly straightforward, so I figured let's do it the way I've decided to do it, which is one video to kind of show the breadth of the line and how things worked. So while I said I'm not doing a ton of history, I do want to do some context for those that may be unaware. It has been 10 years since Fourze came out, and I did review a bunch of these toys on the channel 10 years ago, which is kind of amazing. I was back in high school when Fourze aired, so I think it hit me in the perfect sweet spot. It's high school setting, my high school setting, similar sort of situation. And when it comes down to it, I think that the characters of Fourze resonated with me that way, and I think the toy line was really fun. Now, while the Astro switches were something that didn't sell super well in terms of deluxe releases, you know, you can still find a bunch of them for very, very low prices. I think it was kind of a fun gimmick. Now, the Astro switches were a curse. They were numbered, which means that, yes, there are 40 of them, and yes, I got all 40. However, they weren't always easily obtainable. While some of the Astro switches would come with deluxe toys such as belts or weapons, sometimes they would be exclusive to Gashapon capsules, which are, you know, kind of vending machine prize items in Japan. So while I won't be going into the specifics of each one of them, I do have title cards planned and you get to see where each switch came out. But I'm gonna keep rolling along instead of going, oh, the hopping switch was really hard to get. Now, there are some switches I'm not covering, specifically Legend Rider switches. These are essentially switches that have Kamen Rider helmets on them and they make a sound for that Kamen Rider. There was a bunch of these between Deluxe, Gashapon, Candy Toy, P-Bandai. But in terms of Astro switches as a gimmick, it had a wide variety. And you know what? In a weird twist of fate, Bandai actually made something that was helpful as a premium Bandai item, and that was the Astro Switch Rack, which I also own. I was really deep into this toy line. This massive thing holds all 40 of the main switches, and we'll be filling it up as the retrospective goes along. So with that all aside, that's the basics of Astro switches, and that's pretty much all you need for this video. So let's break it down rider by rider and look at every Astro switch that appeared in the series or movies that got made into a deluxe toy, which now is all of them.
Henshin!
So Kisaragi Gentaro, aka Kamen Rider Fourze, had the most Astro switches. Of course, he's the main rider. And back in the day, your secondary rider only got a couple things. But essentially, Gentaro used the Fourze driver, which had 4 different Astro switch slots. A circle, an X, a triangle, and a square. This is important because some Astro switches work in some slots and others work in others, because each of these is distinctively shaped. And that also means there is some limited functionality because a lot of the toys outside of the Fourze driver only use circle slots. So you can only use the circle switches in most of the other toys. Now, in terms of releases, there was a mixture of deluxe, there was a mixture of Gashapon. Sometimes you'd have to get the switches from additional items such such as the food droids, which are food that turn into robots. Yeah, it's Kamen Rider. This stuff's weird. Also, they're in high school. Of course they had food robots. The other thing is that you have to buy the additional weapons. And like I'd mentioned, the Gosh Bomb ones were tricky to find. You had to get the ones with the shiny stickers specifically, or else your collection wouldn't line up. And I had a really good middleman back 10 years ago that was really pushing for it, but I spent a ridiculous amount of money trying to get the ones with the shiny stickers. Don't recommend doing that, because most of the Astro Switches in the series have zero story context. Yeah, that's where this trend sort of started, was here. There is no story context for a lot of these. They would just throw switches at Gentaro because they wanted to get to 40 to represent the 40 years of Kamen Rider. Now, in addition to that, there was some movie-exclusive forms that use some special switches that have different numbers and registrations, and we'll look at those as well. Fourze's got a lot. Let's take a look and see at all of his Astro Switches, weapons, and food droids. Switch 1, Rocket. Switch 2, Launcher. Switch 3, Drill. And Switch 4, Radar. These make up the main transformation switches for Kamen Rider Fourze. Each of the switches makes the same limit break sound that you just heard with the rocket module, and we will not be repeating them for all 40 switches. Switch 5, Magic Hand. Switch 6, Camera. The food droid known as Burger Meal transforms from a burger into a helpful robot, and his head would spin when you insert an Astro Switch, except the mechanism in mine is broken. Switch 7, Parachute. Switch 8, Chainsaw. Switch 9, Hopping. Switch 10, Elec. Elec states did have Billy the Rod, which is where the Elec switch was included, and it is kind of an interesting weapon with an electrical plug system for its different attacks. Naturally, you can plug the Elec switch into the bottom of it to activate the limit break. Switch 11, Scissors. The second food droid, Potochokin, is a set of french fries that turns into a robot and vibrates across the table when the Astro Switch is inserted. Switch 12, Beat. Switch 13, Chain Array. Switch 14, Smoke. Switch 15, Spike. Switch 16, Winch. The Astro Switch Kaban is essentially just a clearing case for the Astro switches. Switch 17, Flash. Foodroid Hula Shake is a shake that turns into a robot, and it's supposed to run around a table, but the mechanism isn't working quite right. Switch 18, Shield. Switch 19, Gatling. Switch 20, Fire. The He-Hack gun is a two-handled fire extinguisher with different sound effects, as well as limit break activated by inserting the fire switch. Switch 21, Stealth. Switch 22, Hammer. Switch 23, Water. Switch 24, Medical. Switch 25, Pen. Switch 26, Wheel. Switch 27, Screw. Switch 28, Hand. Switch 29, Scope. Foodroid Horu Wenkoff is a hot dog that turns into a little drill robot. Inserting the Astro switch will eject a missile. Switch 30, In Magnet. Switch 31, S Magnet. The In-S Mag phone is a weird device, being the two magnet switches 30 and 31 slapped together, but it does serve the purpose as a phone with multiple different sound effects. Once transformed, the actual NS magnet phone becomes handles for the firing mechanisms that Fourze would have used in magnet states. Switch 32, Freeze. Foodroid Softanya is an ice cream cone that turns into a very convenient and very nice fan. Switch 33, Claw. Switch 34, Board. Switch 35, Giant Foot. Switch 36, Arrow. Switch 37, Gyro. And the last food droid, Nuggy is a box of chicken nuggets that ejects tiny little chicken nugget robots. It's kind of cute, really. Switch 38, Net. Switch 39, Stamper. Switch 40, Cosmic. The Barzon sword opens up in a dramatic fashion and is quite a large weapon. The Cosmic Switch can be inserted for the limit break. And any other circular switch can be inserted, and it does recognize them distinctively. Legend Rider switches from Movie War Megamax, Ichigo. Nego. V3. Riderman. Rocket Switch Super 1 from Movie War Megamax. Drill Switch Super 3 from Superhero Tyson. The clear drill switch, found by Kamen Rider Amazon and given to Fourze.
Attention.
Next up, Sakuta Ryusei, aka Kamen Rider Meteor. He used the Meteor driver, which is this cool disco ball thing that I've always loved, even though it doesn't work as well as it used to. This lever's kinda iffy. That being said, he only had a couple Astro switches to his name, namely being this Meteor switch and the Meteor Storm switch. There also was the Meteor Galaxy, a weapon that could use Astro switches, so let's take a look at all of that. Meteor switch. The Meteor driver activates by sliding across the lever and then hitting that button on the side. In addition to the Meteor switch, you can also use any other circular switch, but it only recognizes them as Astro switch.
Switch on. Ready?
Meteor Galaxy summons planet weapons, including
Mars. Ready? Okay. Mars. Jupiter. Ready? Okay. Jupiter. Saturn. Ready? Okay. Saturn.
You can also insert the Astro switch for Meteor in order to activate the limit break.
Limit break. Okay.
Meteor Storm switch.
Meteor storm. Meteor on. Ready?
The Meteor Storm shaft extends out and is mostly just a thing to hold the Meteor Storm switch.
Limit break.
Henshin. The third rider for Fourze, Nadeshiko, aka Kamen Rider Nadeshiko. Now, if you've seen Movie War Mega Max or Movie War Ultimatum, you probably know her deal, and that's why she has a copycat of the Fourze driver. And this copycat Fourze driver is essentially just, well, it's the original Fourze driver toy in a new cast, with closed off slots, missing a handle, painted a little different, and has a different readout display to match Nadeshiko. So why did it take them 10 years to do this? I have no idea, but I'm glad they finally did. It feels like the piece that was missing from the collection, and the fact it included bonus Astro switches was even better. Now, while she does reuse Rocket and Radar, and comes with those as well, you can't use these other two slots, which is kind of a bummer. But there is some neat little bonus features with this driver that I actually found quite surprising. Switch 1, Rocket, and Switch 4, Radar.
Rocket. Radar.
But there is a bonus mode that allows for voice effects for Nadeshiko. The Nadeshiko driver can also use any circle or square switches that the Fourze driver could. Now in the Kamen Rider Fourze summer movie, Fourze and Meteor were able to fuse together into a new form. Let's take a look at those. The clear launcher switch that doesn't actually do anything. Meteor switch. Fusion switch. Nadeshiko launcher switch. This next batch of Astro switches were plot relevant, but don't actually work in the drivers properly, and that's why I call them the special switches. Gate switch, solo switch. The solo switch and the gate switch actually don't do anything. They don't have any pegs on the bottom and they don't get read by the driver. Core switch. The core switch came with this tiny little stand. Convenient. You may be enjoying your days in high school and get handed a mysterious device by somebody that might be your principal. The Zodiarts switches are actually kind of neat, so let's take a quick spotlight at those. Zodiarts switch. Horoscope switch. Both of these were included in a special premium Bandai set that included all the icons for the horoscopes, but there was also a Zodiart switch released at retail that was very similar. In total, there were 57 switches, 59 if you include the duplicates from the Nadeshiko driver. So at the end of the day, is the Kamen Rider Fourze Deluxe Astro Switch line the most amazing rider line in existence? No, not really. I actually think I like Progress Keys more. But when it comes down to it, Fourze was kind of like this special moment for Rider. 40th anniversary, high school setting for the first time, and it really sort of brought like a lot of fun and energy back into Rider that I think was missing. And so I love Fourze for that. I love its themes of friendship and uniting different groups of people together under a common cause, and just that wonderful energy that the show provides. And so every time I look at one of the toys, it reminds me of an episode or a moment in the show. Aside from like the last 10 Astro switches, they don't really mean anything. But in terms of like the overall toy line, it brings me a lot of happy memories, especially of collecting it back in the day, and also why I didn't keep collecting Kamen Rider as intensely, because oh my god, this was a lesson in don't buy everything, it's intense. And then 9 years later I did it again with 01, but that's for another video series, because Progress Keys are way more complicated. But in terms of the Astro switches, I don't know if they're the greatest gimmick ever, and I don't know if anyone really should go try to collect all of them anymore, but I did back in the day, and it feels nice that it's totally complete now with the Nadeshiko driver. So if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, notification bell for future Kamen Rider videos, and leave a comment down below and tell me your favorite thing about Kamen Rider Fourze. Or if you totally hate it. Either way, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Also be sure to check out Hero Club at hero-club.com for Kamen Rider news and more, and my awesome graphic designer on Twitter at darkclaw643. And until next time, this is Soundout saying, Uchu Kita!